This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
I saw where Deion Sanders was tweeting out about the comeback for Antonio Brown, which I kind of laugh at that because Antonio Brown has gotten so many breaks over the years. Think about this. He has gotten breaks that we don't know about with Pittsburgh. And yet he has committed crimes, has assaulted women, has insulted almost anyone and everyone he could possibly insult on current teams, former teams, current players, former players, you name it. The guy has gone out of his way to kind of bury himself with anything and everything, right? So Deion tweets out, "My son came to town to work," in capital letters, work. On his game, on his life, on his thoughts, on his tomorrow, on Antonio Brown. I can't wait to witness this comeback. Story called A, B, and C, as in SEE. I know what I know, and I pray you all get to see what I know to be true about Antonio Brown. So Antonio has been trying everything possible. And the interesting part is the only thing he really could have done, he never did. And that's actually get professional help. This is the guy that, chose to treat himself for all his issues because he thinks he's got all the answers to everything. Because, of course, it's all worked out for him up until this point, right? Every decision he's made, it's really worked out for him. See, that's the problem with being an enabler. It's like Adam Gase, and I'll explain. In Pittsburgh, he was a screw-up on a consistent basis. But because he's a great player, they tolerated it, they hid it, they kept it away from the media, they defended him, they shielded him, and guess what that gave him? More power to go out and assault more people and insult more people and commit crimes because they're going to hide it. They're going to lie for me. They're going to do everything in their power so I don't get in trouble. So you feed the entitlement. That's what the Jets did with Adam Gase. The Dolphins, after 3 years, figured out Adam Gase is not a good person. He's a terrible human being. He has terrible communication skills. He loses players. He's really not a good coach. We found that out in 2 out of 3 years, and so then they fire him. But by the Jets hiring him right away, they gave him all the sense of entitlement that he needed. That means everything he did in Miami, in his eyes, was right. Just like Antonio Brown. Everything he did in Pittsburgh was right, so he kept doing it everywhere else he went. Because he expected the Raiders to tolerate it. He expected the Raiders to lie for him. He expected the Raiders to protect him, and it didn't happen. And then the Patriots tried it, and he thought it was going to happen again, and it didn't. So now he's outside looking in. And the part that Deion Sanders doesn't understand is by allowing him back in, you're only enabling him. He never went to get real professional help. He never really looked in the mirror and said, I am the problem. All he's done is try to circumvent the fact that he has problems by masking it, by trying to act like he's somewhat normal when we know he's not. So anybody that signs him, which they're not, because the NFL has got to overcome a pandemic, all kinds of financial issues. They're worried about so many other things before they even look into the Antonio Brown case. So his 2020 season is done anyways. I don't know if he'll play in 2021. But my point is, if you don't see that he has professional help, why would you approve to bring him back in any way, shape, or form? If you see that he's not constantly getting the professional help, why would you bring him back? All you're going to do is enable him. And that's what Deion Sanders is doing. He's an enabler because he's really not around Antonio Brown. He doesn't really know Antonio Brown. You know, the guy that assaulted a truck driver just a few months back? That Antonio Brown? So all of a sudden, he has sexually assaulted women, assaulted a bus driver, all allegedly, of course. And so now he's overcome all these issues? Come on, man. That's the problem in our society. We like to be enablers.